So hello everyone and welcome to another day in the New Wave Invitationals. I'm Dax and joining me tonight is Mika for our first game. And well Mika, we are gonna be seeing some debuts today, that's for sure. It's a full new team to round out our eights and we are gonna be welcoming one certain community coming on in. Who's that Mika playing on for tonight?
We have Team Cakes making their debut tonight, and appropriately so, they've changed their player icons all to what is possibly closest icon. I think looks more like a yogurt swirl to me, but I like the effort. So, welcome to Team Cakes, and they will be going up against Team Ube. I like all of the dessert talk tonight. I think you picked this match especially for me because I am, really craving some cake right now, ube flavored cake in particular.
Yeah, and I just want I remember like the other day we had like three cakes here at home. One was caramel, one was chocolate, one was like some crunch thing. I don't know why we had so many cakes, but hey, we are gonna have one more flavor of cakes right now coming on in versus a distinct flavor within Uber server. So yeah, here we go right now, guys. With our roster set and done, we do have the debut of cakes with Roxy London, Red Rose Shiver, Blackbeard, Stereo, and X Fatalist to round things off and start things up. Alex Eaton, Oily Beer gonna be those subs there. In the meantime, for Uber server, things are getting shuffled around still on that roster, but we do have Santa Paps, Chico Ice to it, Bear, Not Vernon, Sacred, Karna, and Mercy for all of that. Now, this is a very interesting matchup. This is the debut of Cakes, but they are very similar to Uber server, similar in the ballpark of the rank. In a similar situation, they both come on from a streamer community. For Cakes, it is from Maui Cakes, who is basically their coach slash manager who sets things up for them. But in the meantime, for Uber server, you do see Mercy there, the leader of the Uber gang, and she's there to be a sub if need be because she's a busy gal. But if honestly she is able to play, she can really pack a punch into these games. In the meantime, this is the New Wave Invitationals, and we do have some standings set on. Remember, Miko, we just had our day one, and I remember you guys took your first map there for Team Overwine, huh?
That's right. We felt very proud of ourselves. Of course, Meme Core took the other three, and congratulations to them. But we felt like we won there. I think it was a big win for us, even
And
though it was really like we're
uh,
down three.
no, it was a big W able to win it out against a team such as Beam Cord, and in the other side of the coin, there was also Wamanagi taking down over Bex on that matchup. So yes, we do see Meme Cord though moving on up. It was only a map win there for Overwine, but not a match win. And Meme Cord is the one who gets above and beyond that. In the meantime, Wamanagi all the way up 3-0. Very scary scoreline, that's for sure. And they're looking to really gear up for a potential perfect run in the New Wave Invitationals.
That's
But anyway,
right. So it's
guys,
looking
yep.
like they are still the team to beat with very strong showing in each match that they do. But it looks like Cakes could
Mhm.
possibly make a very impressive debut right now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot riding on their shoulders because it is their very first match. Ube, of course, made a strong showing, I believe, last time they were on.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they did take down the opposition, and that was a 4-0 there. So Uber Server is like, hey, we can actually show on up. And really, this is going to be a battle of communities and a battle of names as well as faces we are very familiar within the PH community here and now. But in the meantime, we are waiting on for the rest of the players. So we'll take a quick little break. We'll fix things up and get into map number one shortly. This is the New Wave Invitationals, and this is Cakes versus Uber Server. Going to be starting things off on our day. Afterwards, we will have a second matchup, and I believe that is going to be Washed Up Homies versus the side of Ooh Watch. So yeah, we're getting all our teams playing, Mika. And before we go, I just want to ask you, which matchup are you excited for? Are you excited for this one? Are you excited for the next one? Are you excited for both? What's up? What's up for tonight?
Well, of course, excited for both, but I am quite interested in this first match because this is going to be a debut of our latest team. So I think everybody wants to see what kind of flavor they're bringing in. Are they a chocolate cake? Are they an ube cake? Are they a strawberry cake? We are going to see that tonight in just a few
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly. But hey, hold the dessert and hold the applause. We will be right back. This is the New Wave Invitationals, and we will see you guys in just a bit. So welcome back, guys, and seems like we are going to be getting into our first map. And our first map, guys, will be Oasis here in a matchup between Cakes as well as Ube servers. So the thing about Cakes, well, they are completely a new team. But if I remember correctly from basically what I've seen about them, they do pack quite a punch. They are on the higher end, honestly, between our New Wave Invitational teams. And they do have a dynamic. No, it's a dynamic. That's dynamic. From Roxy Londa, Red Rose, Blackbeard, Shiver, Stereo, and X-Fatalist. I've seen Red Rose, Shiver, as well as Fatalist play together for quite a while. They do have a lot of synergy coming in. And on the other side of the coin, Ube's server as well, coming in close, cutting it close, and looking to play as close as can be with Sacred, Chico, Cocombear, Ice Tubig, Karna, and Not Vernon to start things off, as Santa Pops isn't here right now for the red hand side. But hey, here we go, guys. Oasis will be our confirmed map. And Mika, what do you think about Oasis? What's going to be the plan of action for these two teams?
Well, as you did mention, Cakes does have sort of a leg up in terms of maybe individual skill level for each of these players. But Ubisoft did make a strong showing last time, and we did see Cocombear and Ice Tubig. Although Cocombear is like at the lower, skill at my skill level, within the silver, gold, barely platinum level, he did make a really strong showing and did show that he can hold his own against maybe his stats compare almost as equal to Ice Tubig stats, and he is of a higher skill level. So right now it might swing, I guess, in favor of Cakes because individually maybe they are more skilled, but we'll see. Perhaps maybe you can give us some insight. How long have these guys been playing together? Which team do you think gels together better?
Yeah, I really think that we've seen Ube's server, but we haven't seen Cakes as of yet. And honestly, even though this is gonna be their debut as we are moving on into Oasis, the thing about these two teams right now is they have been playing with one another. Let's talk about Cakes just a little more in just a bit as we move on in to the map of Oasis. We are gonna start things off on the towny area. It's gonna be that downtown. It's gonna be that city center coming in here for our first map. So yeah, back to my point, Miss Mika. So for Cakes, the story of them is they are under Maui Cakes. She basically has a community of all these peeps playing Overwatch. And if I remember correctly, before we started New Wave Invitationals, she had a scrim giveaway tournament thing that involved many of these players really fighting one another for a little bit of a prize. But she has been always playing Overwatch already. She's been a long-time member. I've been communicating with her for quite a while, and honestly, Cakes was one of the first teams we invited to the New Wave Invitationals, but it took their sweet time. That's for sure. They took their sweet time and a half and even more. It took them like a month to get this roster set on up, but this is finally time to get our 8th team coming on in. And we are gonna see that Genji on Shiver, it's pretty much his signature hero, Blackbeard, gonna be playing that Echo. And I'm very interested to see how Cakes is gonna run this. It's gonna be a Winston and a Roadhog. Red Rose really liking that hog. And Roxy Lalonde gonna be looking for the dive, but on the other side, it's Ube's server playing a more full dive with a Farah Mercy 2 boots.
That's right. Their Ube server is also running Ash as well, and as of the Moisey combo, the Moira Mercy on support.
Karna looking for the top up, and we'll see Ice Tubig fall in front of him, looking for the resurrection, but no, this is Cakes already with a hot start so far. Looking really good with the Echo as well as the Genji, gonna allow them a lot of speed into the action. And in the meantime, Uber server right now transitioning to the point, trying to contest, but advantage in favor of Cakes right now with Blackbeard, just absolutely fragging on out. That's a D.Va trying to get on the way. Chico trying to survive, but this D.Va can't get away from that focusing beam. And Team Cakes with a hot start, it's a good debut here and now. And remember, Mika, we always say one thing about debuting teams: they have the natural advantage every single time.
Could you call it beginner's luck? Maybe, I don't know. But Blackbeard was pretty on point on that Echo, as well as Fatalist sneaking in that sleep on Chico over there, and he wasn't able to do anything much on that point.
Just surprise, and then Chico just getting vaporized by a focusing beam. So difficult to really survive as a D.Va in that scenario. There's no way to really get the damage mitigated in the first place. But there you go, Cocombear doesn't give out the damage. Gonna get the shot on Blackbeard. You need that hit scan to deal with the Echo, and the Ash doing a pretty good job so far. But Uber server needs to go to that point. They see the resurrection, and oh no, it's gonna be the D.Va duplication. We have discussed this in length last time with the Timora show from the side of Wamanagi. But here comes the bombs already set on up in position. Blackbeard gonna get 2 and is gonna be into the skylines yet again. So what do you think for Echo, Mika? What do you think is like the best target for Duke? I've seen many targets, I've seen many heroes, but I can honestly say the Reinhardt, the Reaper, and that Diva, surprisingly, are really good parts of that equation.
I totally agree. I feel like the tank duplicates are definitely the tide turners because you have all of those crowd controls, you have all of those stunts that can really make or break a match. But definitely duplicating the support ultimates can also help with sustaining a team, especially when you're trying to make a push or when you're really desperately trying to cling onto a point. But it's looking like the Diva duplicate is his favorite over here.
Yeah, but look at that. You know what else is going to be favored here for Cakes? And Nanoblade to just execute everyone on the spot. 5 kills pretty quickly done. Well done there by Team Cakes. And you can really see that they have a lot of synergy with one another. Seems like, guys, that good things come to those who wait. And we waited on for Cakes here in the New Wave Invitationals, and they have shown us a good romp. They will take their first map here, and now in this Oasis map itself, 100-0 on the City Center area. Wow, pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, I saw Cock Bear try to sneak in a Bob in there, but Bob was kind of in a really awkward and bad angle, and he didn't quite get the angle that he needed to take out the rest of Cake.
Yeah, exactly. And in the meantime, we will have the side of Cakes with the first round taken here in this best of 3 in this map. Of course, this is a 4-map set a la Overwatch League style. And yeah, we'll have the same composition here for Cakes. What do you think about this Winston Roadhog? Because it's very awkward to execute, but I guess it's really working out for them. What's the deal with this, besides probably their biases in terms of those hero picks?
It is. I mean, like the double off tank thing, I would say, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable running into it. And they are actually running a very, I would say, almost a very squishy comp with Echo and Genji as a DPS. So it wouldn't be something that I would be like comfortable backing up or heading into. But I guess it's more of a comfort pick for them because it seems like they are really doing well and working wonders on this composition. I mean, we see that Roadhog and Winston right now are working really well as sort of like delaying or maybe holding the point, more of like capitalizing on their resources rather than actively brawling it out. They're just giving space for their DPS to do all the work to get all of those picks.
Yeah, I can see that. It really Cakes is relying on DPS to do that damage because Roxy Lalonde there isn't going for any real suicide dives. I see that she's just running around looking to get the zaps on and eventually get in position. But Blackbeard, a very quick duplicate into the fray. Jedi already look to get channel. Play here from Shiver as well. And Team Cakes with 2 of these DPS ultimates looking really good so far. Chica right now trying to survive. Another 7 kills here for Team Cakes. And well, that's going to be a good flurry there. The blue hand side with the first pick off yet again. And take notes how Roxy Lalonde plays it. No real jumping, no real shenanigans like that. Always has an escape plan when the top up is needed, and Fatalist is always there to make sure that the healing is in position. So for Uber Server, I feel like the best thing they can do right now is get the catch onto the Winston to start things off. The McCree and the Brigitte are gonna be good components of that. And did the game recently patch, Mika? Did the game recently patch on the live side?
I'm not sure, did it?
I'm not so sure
on yesterday,
actually. Like I'm trying to remember because I've seen that the CC patch basically is the one that's coming in, so that's less CC, less seconds on that time back. But we'll get confirmation on that later on. As a grab the surge from Chico, gonna get a catch onto 2. Good setup there. And here comes Roxy Lalonde. Primal Rage is popped. Sacred trying to go for the brawl, but it's still Uber Server struggling to get this objective back in their sidelines. Gombe right now looking to keep things up onto the high ground, staying on another frag here. And now Uber Server finally with the flip. This time they have figured out their opponents and they are looking a lot better.
That's right. That first point, I should also note that, like, as Roxy and Red Rose were really giving space for their DPS, Shiver just farmed that ultimate, farmed that blade up until the very last. I mean, it was 0-0 on the point, and he was still able to get that blade up. So they're really, it seems like these 2 off tanks are really just working to give space for their DPS to get those picks. But I think Uber Server here has managed to, find out their play, and I think they're really focusing on the Winston, on Roxy right now, and farming the Roadhog as well.
Yeah, but now into the hookah room they are just getting executed on the spots. Now Winston though looking to be, it's basically the main tank in a scenario like this with it's awkward. It's honestly awkward with only playing that Winston many times. But Cakes is making it work due to the fact that they are always supporting Roxy as she goes in. It really is just Blackbeard and Shiver making sure that everything is fine and dandy, able to get enough kills for the Winston to survive. And it really is a kill or be kill kind of composition. And speaking of kills, Red Rose on that Roadhog, well, if you're unable to really punish a Roadhog in any kind of shape or form, then you are gonna get shut down by those insta-gibs. And speaking of the insta-gib, Shiver right now knows that this is the room to get the execution on. Frags on the board, pretty well done. Deflect right now onto the face of Bob as well. But hey, you can't disrespect Bob like that because he has that auto-aim. Still for Team Cakes, they are already 10% away from this victory on Oasis. They took the first round and looking for another one. Shiver gonna get resurrected on back. Here comes Uba's server. Can they actually make it to the objective? It seems like it's not gonna be the case, or Sacred will be able to get a touch at the last second. Shiver now gonna go on down. Fire Grenade though has connected Coalescence to save the day, and it seems like Team Cakes taking it a little too easy at the last parts. So for Uba's server, opportunity here and now done by Sacred. That's a beautiful click off, and that's a beautiful push courtesy of the right hand side. The team captain really keeping him alive into this one. Rally right now from Karna, and Uba's server at the brink, able to make it happen and come on back with the points in their favor.
That's right. I feel like they did use a bit too much to get in there though, because now they are barely to 50% on their old economy right now. Nobody is making not well enough progress to have any sort of weapon for the next clash. If you do see like what happened there, Cakes over here split up and their DPS actually flanked, terribly tearing apart the focus of the red hand side, and so they weren't able to push as well as I think they wanted to, or didn't stick to the plan. But Coalescence from Not Vernon, of course, saved Sacred over there, and they were able to push, but I don't feel good about this next match over here.
That nade from Fatalist catching them out, and you can think about this as Red Rose just pushes everyone back. Summary execution. 39 kills to 13, Mika. Times 3. 3 times the kills, similar damage. Cakes has shown a well endowed way to be lethal, and they are going to take their first map here and now in this 4-map set. Well done to Cakes, strong debut to start things off in the New Wave Invitationals.
Absolutely, and the play of the game, of course, Shiver over here. I'm guessing this is the, yes, this is, I think this was on the first flash over here, where he just completely obliterated everybody.
Hey, he
What an
has
awesome
the blade.
Genji.
He has the blade and he whips it out, and that's pretty much all of that. There's no patch notes though, but if I remember correctly, that's basically the CC patch is gonna be next on the list in a few seconds there. But Karna getting 10 upvotes, wow, a lot of love there from everyone. Karna. Good job, Karna. We'll give it to ya. We'll give it to ya.
You can feel the mutual love and respect over here between both of these.
Exactly. If I remember correctly, these two teams, these two communities basically know of each other, and they do have a lot of familiarity with one another. I'm very familiar with, honestly, many of these names right now into the rosters from the two games, so which is very interesting that it really is feeling like a little bit of homecoming, bringing Cakes rather into this Invitationals. But speaking of Kings, it seems like our next map is gonna be King's Row, so we'll be confirming on that. But Mika, on Oasis, what really was the defining factor for that series, for that map rather, in the series?
I think you were right, in pointing out the, Roadhog and Winston composition, that double off tank. And we did see a Winston that wasn't jumping around, that wasn't harassing, and was more of just like, holding his ground, really just staying there, waiting it out to see when would be the exact point that he would jump out, and then the Roadhog would take over. You saw this nice kind of rotation because they were really depending on the two flankers, on the two DPS, Echo and Genji, to take out Uber servers, heroes. But we also saw that Uber server was able to, I really like their sustained game with the Brigitte and Moira over there. That's when they were able to take the point for themselves. But I really do think that the strategy of Case was just a little better, and maybe their execution was just a little bit better than Uber servers. But we are going to go into King's Row, and maybe the Uber server can redeem themselves.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be an interesting one. Love you, Mika, but remember, Winston is a main tank, but it is also a very awkward thing. It's okay. I think I get your point where you're trying to say it's double off tank, because it's very off to play the Winston with the Roadhog. It doesn't really make any sense. Like, you can still make a case to play Reinhardt, right? Like, it's okay. But Winston Roadhog is like, what? how does that work? Because the
I,
Winston needs
I was
protection.
surprised that they didn't bring out a Reaper at any point there
Yeah, that's true.
because
That's true. That's true. That's a fair point. The
yeah,
Reaper is a
because I
good
would think
one.
like with the Winston and the Roadhog would be like a nice buffet for a Reaper who could like quickly farm his Blossom and like possibly like even one flash with
Yeah,
all of that meat going around.
that's actually a very good point, and maybe just maybe Uber server is actually gonna be whipping it out onto our map number 2. So we have gotten confirmation of our second map, and that one is going to be King's Row. Pretty much what we expect from these rosters. But let's look at that map recap real quick. It is Cakes with a victory, getting that one 2-0. Their amazing logo, which looked like they got what was that? The thing that was in colored pencils and crayons when we were a kid? Oil pastels. It looks like
Oil
someone.
pastel.
It's like you can say it's either chalk or oil pastels. It's just like someone decided to draw the cake emoji from the Apple keyboard, and there you go with oil pastel. Good fan art. I think this is
No,
basically the
that
fan
is
art.
true effort. That is true effort. Combining physical art and then making it into your logo over here.
Oh my
You
God.
gotta admire this logo over here.
Exactly, but just want a few things to note about Uba's server. In terms, there's no real way to really compare the stats because this is the debut of Cakes. But best statsman Rebirth, just bringing up a little bit of the something. Now it's usually Sacred who does play a little more into the off support role, with Karna being that hard main support. Because comparing to Karna and Sacred, Sacred has almost 21 average eliminations per 10 minutes compared to the 4.62 of Karna, which really goes to show that it really is all about finding opportunities here for Sacred, especially when you see him, if I remember correctly, on the Ana or something like that, or maybe on the Moira. But now since Santa Paps isn't here, we do see Sacred on the tank role, which he's flexible with, and it is Karna and not Vernon onto the support line, which is something very, very interesting because if I remember correctly, the two supports right now have similar hero pools, which might really hurt Ubi's server in the long run into this one.
That's right. If they do go into a mirror match, and if it's gonna go down, if it's gonna come down to skill level, as we mentioned, Cakes does have the upper hand because they do have a higher skill set. Also, I am surprised that Santa Pops isn't here because he played a really awesome, really mean Reinhardt last time. But I guess Sacred is taking over that job for him in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, let's get into King's Road. This is gonna be map number 2 out of 4. That was Oasis there, done and dusted pretty quickly by Cakes. Can they do so again into this one? And Cakes honestly led by Roxy Lalonde, and she's gonna be looking to really rush through a few things. If I remember correctly, we did start things off early because of a few engagements that Cakes has as after this matchup. So honestly for them, they are all business. I don't think they're gonna be wasting time just for the benefit of their main tank, as she's gonna be looking to spearhead such a strong showing. And speaking of she's Cakes and Uber server again, led by basically women, basically the community heads, the figures that really brought everyone together. But it's on the side of Uber server with Sacred leading the charge, with Mercy now gonna come on in for the very first time, I believe, and we'll be playing that Doofus instead. It's time for the punches and potentially getting the punishes on to the opposition.
And I know this Oily Beer over here brought out Junkrat, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this a signature character for Oily Beer?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yes, something to note also. So low-key substitution here. We do see Oily coming on in, and the Junkrat King is gonna be looking to make it rain. Now Oily Beer isn't someone you would expect to do so well on a certain hero. He's not the highest rank, that's for sure. But when he whips out the Junkrat, he suddenly turns into whole different things. Sadly for him though, well, Junkrat is a pick that is very easy to counter if you do have the right components for it. And Mercy knows how to play that Flora. Gonna be whipping that one out. Complayer in the meantime playing that Widowmaker. But for Uba's server, they are already beaten on back, because that is a very good resurrection here from X-Fatalist. Cake's playing a very upward Lucia Mercy pairing, but we'll see how they're gonna run things down. It seems like the Ryan Zarya wants to fight in the front line, and Fatalist gonna be at least pocketing one of the two heroes here for the DPS Cakes.
That's right. They do have that Lucia to throw off, I guess, the Widow, and Cockenbear on the Widow over there. But you're absolutely right. I mean, having been a victim of this Lucio Mercy, setup, the healing is just not enough at all, especially when Lucio is just 10 times more useful on his speed than he is on heals.
No. Amp speed, no, is not a thing. Amp heal is all the way. That's how you get Sapphires, but don't take my word for it at all. Don't do that, guys. You always want to use that amp speed to engage. But right here, right now, Mercy with a quick engage. Here comes the Rocket Barrage, and it is gonna be a strong showing here. She likes to medicate, but right now she's dishing in the pain, and this is just gonna be some abuse from the Skylines. Seems like you can't dodge those rockets whatsoever, but you can't that as well. But never mind, gets behind that taxi. Shiver only gonna get one. Mercy right now really surviving these fights, and Uber Server staying onto the point so far. Here comes the push, grab the surge from Chico as well, catching out Red Rose, and every Rose wilts one day, and that is gonna be the demise of the Zarya on the other side. Coalesce is now coming in as well, not burdened with that coal, and Mercy looking nigh unstoppable with the pocket courtesy of Karna as well.
It seemed like Cakes over here were trying to do slightly like the same thing that they did on Oasis, which is sort of like give their DPS space to really farm their ults, but it didn't quite make it, and they ended up getting pushed way off the point. I guess they waited a little too long before engaging.
And in a scenario like this, there did get a pretty good soundbar time, if I remember correctly, but at the same time, you know, it's still just not enough in terms of that sustain. It's very, very difficult in the first place. It takes just a little while longer to get the top up on, and with the Mercy, you get single target healing unless you have that Valkyrie, and that's not gonna fly whatsoever in the face of Mercy and this Pharah. Now, bringing Oily Beer is a double-edged sword, honestly. Everyone knows that Oily Beer will run that Junkrat, but it really depends on how you play things out. Uber Server looking to do so. Here comes the shadow though for Roxy Lalonde, and it seems like the fight gonna get stopped in its tracks. That's perfect shatter there from the tank line. Grab the surge to boot as well, and Team Cakes finally defending after basically getting punished by Mercy over and over and over again.
And I should point out also as well, Stereo over there just really 1v1 the Widowmaker and chasing Widow out.
You know, low-key, guys. Also, for people who are familiar to Mercy, you know, usually we see her on something like support or even tank, but she did say here the new wave Invitationals she wants to run that DPS, and low-key she's been training on it, playing with the rest of her squad, her staff, and her friendos, and she does have a lot of comfort on the Pharah. If I remember correctly, even way before she practiced, Pharah is one of her picks on the DPS department, and shouts to everyone watching right now the new wave Invitationals. But speaking of shoutouts, it's Oily Beer getting spotted immediately by Mercy. Here comes the Riptide, down it goes immediately. What a shutdown there from the Pharah. Shutdown right now though. Roxy London trying to make a play again, but she's not able to get the push in time. Here comes the Rocket Barrage, and Mercy! No mercy again from this Pharah. Uber Server getting carried by their namesake right here, right now. You don't usually see that too often, but community leader of this team, well, absolutely world-class Pharah right now. If Team Cakes is just not finding any way to shut this down.
That's right, she took out the entire team. I think that was a win double kill right there with that barrage.
That's a 5 right there, and that is almost an ace to begin with. Now, here for Uber Server, they are still relying on that Pharah, but they are moving into the third point, and Oily Bear has been forced to swap off from his Junkrat to a Soldier 76. Now, this double hit scan might be able to deal with the Pharah, and this will be Mercy really put to the test. Can she actually keep up with the Pharah, and can she actually swap into something else? Because Shiver has a hot hand, and that is going to be the McCree getting the shutdown there. Cucumber still onto the high ground, and low-key, Cucumber is trying to get those frags. Now, usually you do want your Widowmaker to get those final blows, so honestly, the Widowmaker of Cucumber not doing too much on that start department. It has been the Mercy so far. But with positioning right now onto the high ground, it'd be a good way to look for a few picks here and there. The Rhino of Sacred, though, having to back on that, and Uber Server waiting for their McCree.
Oh! Roxy out of position. Oh! Sacred gets the pin. This could be huge for Uber Server right now.
Yeah, they get 2 picks, and that's only unfortunate. Olivia now gets pop on back on Junkrat sees, oh my god, there's no more Pharah. It's time for me to throw some grenades, but it might not be enough. It might be too late. Good bubble though, bringing Fatalist back into the fold with this resurrection onto Stereo as well. And oh, that's Valkyrie allowing that mobility, but Roxy Lonely caught in that Grafton Surge, and Uber Server with one little change onto the roster, looking a lot better than before. Oasis was a wash, but this time King's Row is looking to be an absolute clinic. They still need to take take care of Red Rose though. He can get a few boops here and there going around and around. What a pin courtesy of Sacred. Seems like just learning from his Fredo Santa Pops. Sandbar though from Stereo. Again, this is such a low-key performance from the Lucio. Getting Sandbars in some really penultimate times. And here comes the Batiste right now from X-Fatalist. It's all about the brawl here and now. They do get rid of people by that point. And Shiver able to get 2 instead. Team Cakes surprising everyone with the Doofus point 86 and a Dream though on the defense. And Hubis Server's like, okay, let's get out here. We're not gonna be able to finish that point as of yet. What a clutch there from Shiver.
Successful hold from Team Cake. So we saw, like, I was actually scared for them. I thought they were trickling in, but they managed to pick the right heroes just enough to stall. Of course, once somebody brings out the Wrecking Ball, you just know they're trying to buy as much time as they possibly can to get on that payload.
Yeah, exactly, and for Cakes right now, they are looking to hold on back. They do have a minute 13 left to try and defend this, but at the same time, they are going to be playing that Lucio and the Batiste. They don't really have anyone to really use that Batiste Amp Matrix to begin with besides himself, and they do need to stay alive in the face of the Deadeye. IPU now set one up early. What a shatter from Sacred, gets into the back line, and that's absolutely huge here from Ubis Server. Here comes the ultimate yet again. Oily Beard though, what a shutdown onto the Riptire. Ubis Server knowing exactly what's coming, and sometimes, some ways, when you're a little too infamous for your role for your hero, it can bite you because Ubis Server able to read Oily Beard like a book. You can always say that that guy is so strong on the Junkrat, but when you have a strong Pharah and we have a strong shutdown onto the Riptide, where that is a lot of value going on the wayside.
That's absolutely right. And a while ago, we saw him shift over to the Soldier 76. But after one clash, you realize, nah, it's not working. I'm going to pick my comfort hero. I'm going to go down the way I want to. So he switched back into the Junkrat. But unfortunately, that tire just didn't work out the way he wanted to. It could have been huge. It could have been huge. But Cocom Bear was onto him, saw that tire coming, shot it down right away. Wasn't even a second in the air.
Right.
And yeah, the Ubis server definitely showing looking a lot stronger than they were on Oasis. So it seems like Kings Row is a very friendly map towards the underdogs, doesn't it?
Yeah, the underdog. Are they really the underdogs? We're just going by the whole, oh, you know, this team is debuting and that's all. They're gonna win 4-0, easy clap, 1, 2, 3. But something to note, Mika, is now Ubis server is in the lead with that kill count, almost double of Cake compared to what, like, it was Cake's X3 of Ubis server earlier on Oasis. So really putting Mercy with 22 frags on the board. That is more than half.
That's amazing.
Of the kills.
That's amazing.
I just want to note this, Mika, that, you know, for Team Cakes, they're just unable to really avoid those barrages from Mercy. She's finding these opportunities, and for Team Cakes, there's ways for them to dodge this and dodge that in the first place, but beyond that, well, they need to keep an eye out onto those corners into this into the streets basically. But still, it's Mercy flying on around, really shades of the past here, and now flying on in. It's very interesting also that you don't see Cakes actually run something like the Echo anymore. It might be a matter of that composition, but well, Team Cakes with a very ground-based run, and they get immediately overrun by Ubis server.
That's right. Mercy was onto them that time as they tried to sneak up onto the stairs. Mercy was already there waiting for them with a couple of rockets in the face. He took out 3 of them right away.
Mercy's like, hi, I'm here, you can't get away from me now, and that will be easy kills there and then. Now still in the meantime, we do see Mercy rotating onto the side. Sacred looking for a shatter, doesn't happen. Good stun there from Shiver, but that is just gonna be the only part of Frostbite as the Rock Barrage comes. Oily Beard though sees the shot, gets the arc on, but beyond that, the Resurrection is back into the fold, and this is just Ubis server overrunning the opposition yet again. This is really Mercy putting on a pedigree against a comp like that, and I feel like for Team Cakes, it's just not working out for them, this DPS line against someone who is really solid on the Pharah. They might need Blackbeard back into the next map just for his Echo gameplay from the first romp.
That's right, Mercy right now has 28 kills. That's more than twice the amount of kills that Cakes has, even if you put all of their kills together.
If anyone kills yep, Mika! No point on that Matt, but I'll just go with it. Sacred gonna be going for that charge still. The Matt was pretty off. Let's do the Matt properly after.
My brain is not as
Mika, as Sacred is literally at the front, making everyone fall back. There is a kill count on the left side underneath their name. It says 21.
Yes.
How is 28 Do I support the wrong Mika? But,
I
it's a
meant to
factor.
say that
It's a
their
factor.
overall kills are more than half of the game.
Okay, look, basically
you're
Mercy
seeing,
is getting a lot of kills more than the other team. There you go, big tonk analysis. But oh, is it finally time for Oilybeard to get the Reptile of his dreams? He does take care of Sacred, that's a decent one there, but we usually expect more for Oilybeard. I know we're putting a little status right now onto the Junkrat, but Oilybeard really is someone you can see fly on around with like double, triple jumps with those concussive mines, and can even catch Mercies and Farms from time to time. Big grab though from Red Rose. The opportunity here now for Team Cakes. And overall, the blue ad side finally making the opening. It really is Oilybeard making these Pats destroying the opposition into the front line, giving them the opportunity. They are also running the Pharah here on Shiver, and if I remember correctly, if they are going to be playing that double flyer comp, it is going to be Blackbeard on that one. Shiver is also notable on the Pharah. It really is in his hero pool to play that projectile, and eventually that allows them to get that push. Oilybeard with the opening, enough to get things done, but will it be enough in the scheme of things? Will it be enough in a series, in a map itself? Because it hasn't really been panning out overall here for Cakes, but at least, at the very least, they can have their moments.
It seems like they're playing a little bit of a more reserved style. They don't seem to be very aggressive. They don't seem to be sort of starting those fights as more of like, you know, holding back and just seeing if they can outlast the damage.
Yeah, and right now, for Team Cakes, they are playing that Blue to Mercy again, so really any kind of spam here and now from Observer really punish that ground game, but losing Bear like that is not the way to go. There we go with the shatter already. Roxalon is trying to make an opening, and teams like Server running out of steam after all of that. Shiver on the far as well, really putting on the punish to Mercy, and this forces Mercy to take different angles and movements of attack. This allows, in return, Oilybeard to finally find the angles on the Mercy, because she can't just keep flying up in the skylines because Shiver is there, and that just is a second point defense that is basically non-existent. Oh, here comes a contest at the last moment. Rocket Brush able here for Mercy, trying to get the direct hit on the Shiver, but it's just not happening. Grab the surge now into the fray. Rocket Brush now coming on in. Mercy gonna be able to get one only. Resurrection bringing on the Reinhardt back into the fold, but here comes Shiver with his own Rocket Barrage. There we go with a potential push. Karna getting the touch on, bringing back Roxy Londa as well. X-Fatalist with that Resurrection. Team Cakes 3:13 on the clock. It seems like it's gonna be Pie Day here and now as they move into the third point. First, moving back to a McCree instead, and this is gonna be Shiver job done. Onto the Genji he goes.
That's right, and Cakes looking a little better equipped as well because they do have that Riptire and the sound barrier coming in to this next clash. Meanwhile, the other end, Sacred has a Shatter coming in, but the rest of his team looking very, very naked right now with barely any of their ult charge in there. And oh my gosh, that's a hook pulling in Red Rose. And both decks are down right now.
Yeah, this is a very cheeky spot basically on King's Road third point. You can play that Roadhog, play by that pit, and look to get the hooks here, there, and everywhere. It's very surprising, honestly, because you come in from the junction having the med pack in the first place, and well, Chica is really taking full advantage of that map in the first place. But hey, Stereo right now, Sandbar is available. Here for Team Cakes, they are looking to stay onto the corner, and Kokamber playing the Sombra. I like this. If you're not really getting the frags as well as you should, you can play something like this that really helps out your team in the long run. Now, Kokamber not really doing the best job comparing to Mercy in the first place. Hopefully that's not a disconnect there on the Sombra. Okay, we're back with the fight. But those hacks are gonna be absolutely vital to keep the team alive. Red Rose though with the frag already by, and they can be there. Here comes a push sleep dart now from X-Fatalist, trying to come on through to the other side. And Chico with another hook and another kill. This can't keep going on here for Team Cake. Super Server taking full advantage of this defense. But they did get, oh my god, they got the hook again. And we do see a pause. Who DC there? We don't have a thing. And yeah,
Kokamber.
We were already expecting it because we saw Kokamber running into the wall. So probably a few latency issues as well into this game. So it's Roxy Londe saying goodbye though, as Chico got the reverse. It was so dangerous for the Roadhog. You saw that last part, guys. They got fire grenaded. They ran to the right, and Chico was like, "Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Hey, come here." And eventually, Roxy Londe is like, "Okay, I'm gonna come there," and she fell down. And goodbye. Goodbye.
That's right. This is such a funny spot because you're coming from the spawn, you can already see. I mean, like if there's a Roadhog waiting there, you can kind of see him. He's not that small of a character, so there's an awkward spot where you have no choice but to go forward and try to avoid the hooks if you can. So you can kind of see it coming, but it feels like the inevitable being on the receiving end of many of those hooks sometimes. But hey, I'm better at dodging them this time.
Yeah, just those
So
hooks.
yeah. Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's a
what? You go first. You
it's a
go first.
really funny spot because you can
It's a
see him
that's
already.
that's all you can say about it. I say, you know what I say about it is absolutely stupid because first things first, the Roadhog is hiding there. So you just basically want to seal that gap or find a way to get that straight line. But it doesn't matter. Even if you're trying to counterplay it, sometimes the hook still comes and he just turns around like this and there you go, you fall down.
That's exactly it. You can see it coming, but then sometimes it's like, oh, why did he still get me?
It's so it's
It's
so
it's
so
it's,
sad.
it's
Okay.
life. It's
Yeah,
life.
so Cooker Bear is back in the fold, and okay, and we are okay, and we are gonna be getting back into the action, starting things off again here on King's Row. 1 minute 39 on the clock. Let's see how Cakes is gonna run this down, Mika, as we go back into our game. Goodbye. Goodbye to the Roadhog. Goodbye to the Rowlet Heart. And that is going to be the first step of this chapter. But this is going to be still Team Cakes looking to get the push on. Keep an eye out on Olivier. He has the Riptire available. Look to hide, but Mercy gets the spot. Swaps back immediately to Farah. This is very, very interesting here for Uber Server. They are really trying to play against that Jumprat and seeing Shiver on the Genji instead of a McCree, instead of a Farah, really allowing Mercy to still dominate into the skylines. That is all about the hits. Concussive shot. Almost getting rocks in London. There we go with the stun. Goodbye for Chico. No, he survives this Roadhog. Absolutely a hero here. And now Shiver with that Dragon Blade into the backline. Gets a cut onto one. Make that 2, make that 3. And both sides right now trying to get some hero plays here and there. Sacred with a last-ditch effort with that shatter. It's not going to happen. Contest right now from the Sombra. And this is still going to be Uber Server looking to get it back. Can they make it to the objective? Seems like it's not the case. And a mid to a mid 08. Second round of action here, Mika. As close as can be between our two teams.
On that last bit, we saw Stereo get a bit of revenge on Chico over there, just pushing him, and he probably would have fallen into the hole himself. But I was actually surprised that Chico was just hanging there, and nobody seemed to want to deal with him at that point. I mean
they eventually did,
could have
Mika.
gone it. They eventually did, but he was just not until the very last flash. So I just feel like maybe, well, if he had disconnected, of course.
We'll think about this also for Chico, for Chico's side. So, if the moment Chico died, that was basically the overrun there, because that's what basically is it. The Roadhog is so pesky inside. It's just like, hi, I'm here. You have to get me, or I'm gonna hook you. And eventually they got it. That was very, very close because Chico got the whole hog in the first place. And it really could have gone either way, but Shiver with a big blade, finding the angles and really going for the support boards, absolutely huge there. As Cakes right now though gonna be on the attack, first 1 minute to minute 08. And is this really gonna be the comp they're gonna run? I feel like this is a little too
This would be fun. I hope so.
I think I get the idea, especially when you want to block away from the forest spam, but those double shields not gonna sustain as long as they can. But on the other side of the coin, Uber Server is playing that Mercy Moira, which basically means they're not gonna have any mobility or utility to really shut that Bastion down. It is all gonna be about damage here and now, and both Combear and Mercy needs to get as much value as possible. But it's time for the TP play. Big dynamite though from Combear, and a very, very early I feel here from X-Fatalist. This is gonna slow down Cakes and their onslaught, but they get to the high ground anyway, setting on up already to be the defense here. Not Vernon, not paying attention. Karna as well will get surprised, and there you go with the big surprise factor. Uber Server unwilling and unable to really try to fend this off, but Sacred right now hammering on the way. He goes for the charge. Olivier gonna go down to the hand of Cockenberg, but the Sigma back into the fold. Can the Ash get the frags that they need? It's very, very important to get the bomb in time, but it's only 51% here from Cockenberg. Stereo with the pistol whip, gonna get that takedown. Here comes Nocturne right now, looking for redemption after she was just basically the one to first to fall. And Chico on the Roadhog right here, right now. I feel it is set on up, though. That's the Amp Matrix in the way instead. Ex-Fatalist really shutting that one down. Roxalon back onto Winston, and it's time for overtime here and now. Looking to get things done along the way. Mercy gonna have that barrage though available, and anytime Ubu server gets the wipe on that objective, that is gonna be that push stop. But hey, first point already taken by Team Cakes. That's a big one there. Chakra Grenade landing on the Mercy, and they don't have a way to block her. It's Lucio Moira into the field. They were looking to expect something to go for the brawl. Shiver in the meantime playing that Reaper. Roxy Lalonde onto the Reinhardt, and big swaps here and now for Team Cakes. Can Uber server react? They're coming in from behind though. It's a flank here and now. Olivier though taking care of one after that martyrdom, but a shatter there from Sacred into the rocket barrage. That is going to be enough. The flank matters and they get things done, but Uber server giving that first point, that is going to be costing them a lot of efforts into this next round.
Beautiful, beautiful flag. And that precious second of just losing focus away from the other team just left the doors wide open for Mercy and that barrage to take everybody out. That was well done. But I do have to praise also the Symmetra Bastion play. I mean, it's not a comp that you usually see played successfully, I would think. But it does work when it, when it counts, definitely. And it counts for Cakes.
Look, the thing about Cakes, they made a very risky comp work, but they are almost shut down at the same time. They used the I field very, very early against the Dynamite of all things. They also lost a few members here and there, especially that Bastion, but luckily for them, they already got the frags that they needed in the first place. So there you go, that was the show. Still though for Urban Server, yeah, they're gonna be going for the attack right now, Mika. And what do you think? Was this gonna be the composition they're gonna run? It looks very, very interesting to say the least, but on the defense, it's a McCree and a Junkrat. I like the stability there for Team Cakes, even running Dev Batista along the way.
That's right. And on the side of Ube, we have Zarya and Roadhog, Genji and Afara, and the Moisey combo again. So we'll see. Like you said earlier, not a lot of utilities still, but Mercy still gets that pocket from Karna. So maybe they're riding on her.
I mean, they have been. 33 kills out of 80 is absolutely ridiculous. Sure, Mercy has slowed down, but she has been an absolute workhorse so far. Oh my god, Oilerbeard, very, very ambitious. Does get the hit. A little too hard for the Mercy to get that hit on in the first place. Onto the high ground though, Shiver having some really good vantage points, and Team Cakes understanding the formation right here, right now. Batista gonna be looking to play with one another. The Hotel gonna have the eye field there. Roxalon, they might be overextending, but unable to get punished by the Zarya and the Road Dog. So here for Team Uber Server, it's really this composition that involves getting picks, and Chico with the hook gets Shiver. That's a huge pick off right there. Can Stare get the resurrection? Yes, he does. And Team Cakes right now having the advantage yet again. Far right now, keeping the pressure alive. Here comes the Junkrat of Oilerbeard, very, very close to that Riptire, and it might be an explosive finale here. And now Chico going on to the inside yet again. And overall, Mika, the adjustments for Team Cakes have been absolutely huge. Shiver really playing into playing with Oilerbeard. That's a big, big deal. And it really changed the tempo for their attack for the second round. And Oilerbeard will be able to get the connection. He's able to make it happen. Mercy with that rocket barrage, though. Getting two. Will it be enough? Overtime now ticking on down. Resurrection canceled by Chico. And what a hero play here from the Roadhog. Gets the frags on the board. Now, big deal here and now is how many members of Team Cakes are going to be resurrecting into the subway. Seems like that's going to be the full shebang here. And now, one potential class. Cakes, will they contest this? I don't recommend Roxy Lalonde coming on in like this, because they can just give it up and try to fight one more time later on. Roxy realizes this, goes to the high ground, and the payload activated, but it's gonna be the penultimate fight coming our way.
That was a wonderful, wonderful save by Chico, and Mercy, of course, buying the team enough time and getting enough frags to just take the point.
Chico
And
again. Look
right
at that.
there.
That's a pick, but Shiver with the counter kill. Goodbye to Mercy. Grabbing the surge right now onto the payload. Lets the push still happen, but for Team Cakes, this is an opportunity here. And now, oh my god, they force everyone off. And victory for Team Cakes. They will take a very close affair. Chico really trying so many times. Stereo with some really good resurrections, bringing Shiver back into the fold. And that is basically that, but Mercy with play of the game. I feel like Chico just needed to take one more step on. I think he should have really decided to go for the Mercy after taking care of the McCree with the hook. But play of the game goes over to Mercy. The far was absolutely exceptional overall into the game.
Was there ever any doubt? Was there ever any doubt? Look at that. 57.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
66% and then 32 out of 52 high energy kills. You can see that Mercy and Chico were such good components of Ubiserve, but the adjustments there from Cakes were exactly what they needed to do. Shiver honestly low-key MVP of that game, not because of what he did as a whole, but he did have some really good showings, but how he adjusted his hero pool, his game sense, and his gameplay to really work around playing with Oily Beer, and eventually gave space to the kiddos to actually get the Junkrat grenades, to get those Riptars on, and it paid out in dividends there for Team Cakes. Because that's the second map done and dusted. Mika, what do you really remember about King's Row? What was such a defining factor of that map?
I really have to hand it to the two supports of Cakes over there because they, like I mentioned, Cakes didn't seem like they were really playing a very aggressive sort of play. They were just hanging back and winning the small fights where they could. And it seems like that's such an important. The supports are such an important factor to that because they knew when exactly to hang back, when exactly to push. I mean, like for example, when they were attacking on King's Row, Stereo dealt with the Sombra effectively, but it's one of those things that, like, those little things that you wouldn't notice but made all of the difference because, like, for example, if Cockenberg got that EMP, they might not have been able to push or possibly just stay a little bit longer on the payload for the rest of the team to respawn. So yeah, I really have to commend Stereo and Fatalist there for fitting so well into the strategy of Cakes.
Yeah, and right now we will be taking our quick little halftime break. Well, stick around, guys. We will be right back very, very shortly. We're just gonna get someone I believe that I want to bring into this table so far, and we'll be back with Cakes versus Uber Server. This is the New Wave Invitationals. I'll see you guys very, very soon after a little bit of a rest for our two teams. So hello guys and welcome back, and we have a very special guest coming into our little bit of our halftime report, halftime segment kind of thing. It's Roxy Londe of Cakes, the captain of the newest squadron in the New Wave Invitational. So hi Roxy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing alright. Just right. Is my mic working?
Yeah, it's working really well.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, just happy we're actually kind of and yeah,
Yeah, I'm just happy you guys are here. Now, let's just go through
yeah,
this very, very quickly. I do know you guys are a little bit on the hasty situation based on your play.
yeah.
So, how's it feel to actually come into the New Wave Invitationals? What's the feeling right now playing, especially against the local community in a setup like this?
It's kind of like I would say kind of impressed or happy. I'm happy to see this sort of like thing happening within the PH community. Like it's I'm not sure how to find the words for it, but it's kind of inspiring, I would say, in a sense. Like
Aww.
Oh, we're
like
just happy you
gathering
guys joined.
together,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
having gathering around the people, gathering from the PH, playing a game that I enjoy, and especially with the current situation.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we have,
I'm glad we
uh,
are.
uh,
You guys joined too. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're
yeah,
trying to say. I can really feel the you guys are having a good time, and since you guys are the latest additions, you guys are trying to catch on up. But immediately, as a transition in the New Wave Invitationals, you guys got a very strong debut. What was the feeling those first two maps? What was really going on through the Cakes team, and what were like basically those substitutions about between maps 1 and 2?
uh, um, uh, my teammates were very nervous. We weren't really interested. So for our first map, tried we were scrimming a bunch, practicing a bit, and what I found is that we do our best when you play our best hero, which is why at the first map. But then when we switched to King's Row, I figured that since we have a very because I thought that we can like capitalize. What I didn't realize is that the other team is very good at kind of struggling with that. It worked out well. I saw Oliver doing great work, especially against the Farah last last stand that we had.
Yeah. And just to fill in the banks there, guys, basically Roxy is just saying that they really, really fill in with their comfort. And even though Ubisoft surprised them with a lot of counter picks and the like, they were eventually able to figure out ways to fit in that comfort. But very kudos on them, screaming actually for new invitationals. That's new. Screaming for this? Wow, I love the work ethic. And even though Roxy's
Yeah.
mic cuts out here and there, we can really feel the message and the like. So kudos to them. But before we send Roxy back to where she's came from and get her back into the game, just a little bit of the thought process now coming into these next two maps. Nothing pretty obvious, nothing based on your strategy, that kind of thing. But now you are only needing one more map to take the match win. What's the plan coming into our next map as well as our fourth map for the series?
I hope we do it fast because it's almost 9 p.m. But
Yes, exactly. That's why we're going through this interview quickly
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Come
But
on.
my plan is that we have Blackbeard, which is a hit scan spot.
Yeah,
We're
hits can.
probably gonna play like a weird dive kind of.
Oh, no, 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 don't say those things. Don't say those things on the interview.
So
Oh my god, okay. Cut the phone, cut the phone.
Is it
So, yeah.
something
Okay,
we said
we
nothing.
get it. Okay, time. Goodbye, goodbye. Time to send you. Thank you, Roxy, though.
You
Thank you.
tell me about worst ethic, and then this happened. You're trying to kudos me on worst ethic, and then I say this. I don't have worst ethic. I just want to have fun, and what I find fun is figuring out what is the best to play.
Okay,
That's
that's
why
actually
that's why
really
I'm
good.
enjoying this new wave invitational a lot. That's why I like to. I'm trying to scream a bit.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. Okay, so you guys didn't hear any strategy. Thank you, Roxy. We'll send you back over to Cakes, and we'll see you very, very soon. Hopefully, we see these maps go on through. Anything to say before you want to go? Okay.
All right.
Goodbye. Hey, thank you. Goodbye to Roxy, and let's go into the game immediately. No one heard the strats, okay? No one
There was
heard
no
the strats.
spoiler there.
No spoilers, but into our next map we go, Mika. It's Watchpoint Gibraltar, and I guess, prompts you can run might be the dive, dive. That's something I hear sometimes is played on Gibraltar, but we do see some substitutions into the game as well. But what do you think? It's time for Gib. It's time to see who. It's basically time to see who's going to be able to get this payload all the way to the other end. And it's time to see that rocket ship fly in Watchpoint Gibraltar.
That's right. Right now, Cakes has the upper hand, of course, but Uber Server seems to be bringing out their big guns right now. They already have Mercy, a literal big gun, but now they're bringing in Santa Pops as well. And I have to say, Daks, I am a fan. I am a fan of Santa Pops. His stats are amazing. I mean, like, him and Chico together, their damage as tanks are on the higher end, I would say. Like 12, 13,000 in one match. And Santa Pops has 33 as his highest eliminations. That's pretty impressive for a tank. And a total and an average elimination of about 21 per 10 minutes. So, and we have to keep in mind that this is a tank. This is not a damage dealer. So, you know, seeing his match played last time, I am such a huge fan of his Reinhardt. Definitely scary. Definitely a force.
Santa Pops fans in the chat right here, right now, and we'll see how Santa Pops is gonna play. Oh, it's the Diva! It's been a while! Remember we talked to Santa Pops in their last interview. This is pretty much his signature hero from before. They move on over to the Reinhardt, but well, they are gonna play a Diva as well as Rodog together, and look at Team Cakes. You can really see that they have script. You can really see that this team knows what they're doing because they come out from the right-hand side. They push on forward with that Rein Zarya. They have the Reaper to boot into Brigitte. And playing the Mercy Brig is a very interesting composition. You don't have really that slope. Usually you can see the Brig with the Mercy from time to time. If you do want to pocket that with a Maker, and well, Team Cakes making sure that Blackbeard is getting the frag onto Ice Too Big.
That's right. I noticed they didn't take the usual high ground spot that people usually stay on to defend. So that was nice. That was something nice. Something new. Definitely giving it some space also.
Yeah, Blackbeard though gonna get that headshot. Mercy gonna go down, and well, Team Cakes with a very strong spawn cap basically. Onto this first corner, playing on the outside, but here and now, Sacred gonna get the frag onto Shiver at the same time. Pin still connecting, Santa Pops trying to survive. Roxy London with that shatter, gets the stun onto Sacred, and here goes the push already from the blue Reinhardt. Team Cakes is trying to play this as fast and furious. They do have their main tank on a deadline, and they're making sure that they can get the games going as quick as can be. But on King's Road, going all the way to a second round really hurt their chances to make that one happen. So in this instance, it's all about quick wins here and now, and they're looking great so far. Uber Server forced to back out again. It is all Cakes right now, absolutely having some sweet victories into this map.
That's right. Blackbeard still getting those free hits. So he's just there on the high ground, and everybody's just kind of giving him space to get those frags, and he really is killing it right now.
Anyway, here comes the rally and into the air. Ice Too Big trying to get the slashes on, gets the nano boost at the last moments, and Uber Server whipping out 3 of these ultimates to get the fight on, and that would be good on paper, but at the same time, realize where they are on the map. They have barely started on their journey, and sometimes when you forget your passport at home, you are gonna get stuck by immigration. There you go, Uber Server right now looking to send things over, and that payload being pushed to the hangar, second point.
Santa Pops over here trying to box out Cakes already, but it's looking like it's pretty risky at this point.
Shuriken tosses as well from the Kenji. And in the meantime, into the airlines, Blackbeard might go down to the hand of Ice Too Big. Here comes the shout out, though. Roxanne that gets another good stun. Santa Pops doing the same, putting the pins on. Oh, never mind, not gonna happen actually. And this is Uber's server running out of members yet again. Cakes has turned it up to 11, and it seems like it's maximum decibel value here from Team Cakes. Shiver on that Reaper, and this is a completely different Cake system that we are seeing. This is just them completely dominant, completely on point, and just destroying the opposition so far. Uber's server in the meantime, even though they have brought in their main tank, they're looking a little worse for wear, as Team Cakes is just way ahead in this regard.
60 seconds.
That's right. Maybe Ice Too Big has to go in and focus on Blackbeard a little bit, but he still is. He almost has his sight on every single flash because of these free hits. And Shiver, of course, just really fueling that Blossom with all of these kills.
The Surge so is available. Santa Claus gonna get that kill. Here comes the leap on in already from the Winston. And Shiver in the meantime holding on to that Death Blossom. For Team Cakes, they still want to contest onto that high ground, but playing against the dive of the side of Uber's server here in Watchpoint Gibraltar will be a tough task in that regard. So Mercy instead with that Deadeye being prime. Can anyone get the snipe or the assassination on? Not gonna happen anytime soon, and that is gonna be the barrier busted. Flashback into a headshot already. Mercy gonna get the kill at the tail end. Chico though, Nana boosted on up. There we go with the zaps. But in the meantime, onto the front line. It's Rox and Lolanda as well as Red Rose working well together. The Ryan Zarya between these two, absolutely essential for these fights. And now time ticking on away. Sacred trying to be pesky, but Roxy with the pin. Sound barrier is cancelled, and that is gonna be a full hold here and now from Team Cakes. They have deserved that one. A very, very well placed effort. Similar damage on both sides, but Cakes was the one who was able to finish off the opposition. And there you go. They are gonna be defending that full map experience.
That's right. That was a little painful on the side of Ube's server. I mean, aside from like Blackbeard still getting those free hits, not being dealt with, and Shiver really dealing massive amounts of damage, what else do you think Ube's server could have done to deal with Cakes?
Well, I really feel like for Ube's server, they just weren't able to get the frags in on time. And on that first point, they really didn't have that awkward composition for that first part of the first point, rather. They had that Diva Roadhog, and then they get met by the Ryan Zarya, the Brigitte. It just didn't really work out for them. Chico is still staying on that Roadhog right now. I know from him, he does play a pretty mean Zarya to boot. And it might have been better for them to actually mirror it out and fight into the car wash instead. But hey, it is what it is. Ube's server is not lagging behind on that damage department, that's for sure. But at the same time, it's really just not working out for them. Chico right now is the one in the lead with almost 4k damage at Roadhog, looking for a few hits here and there. But this time, for Team Cakes, they were able to shut down the Roadhog of Chico because he wasn't able to get the frags. He only has one final blow to his name, so none of his combos really connecting well. On the other side of the coin, Blackbeard showing us how the Widowmaker has played 8 frags to that Blue Widow. And now Team Cakes going to be relying on Blackbeard again to whip out that sniper and bring things home.
And Shiver and the Doomfist as well, looking like team talent over here for the side of Cakes, and they really don't have a lot of work to do because Ube's server was barely able to push just over halfway, so this might be easy for Team Cakes to just take the cake and take it home.
Take the cake and bake it as well, but Mercy right now gonna get that takedown onto Fatalist. Shiver gonna be really in trouble there as everyone cascading on. Ube's server turns around, gets rid of the Doomfist, and right after the high ground goes Ice Tubig, but keep an eye out on Blackbeard. He really is looking for these sidelines here right now, and on the first point, it can be very, very domineering for the Widowmaker, especially if the high ground is taken. But the car wash not getting cleared. Winston Roadhog again here from Cakes is pretty much their composition of choice in terms of comfort, and they are looking to make things work.
Oh, Blackbeard over here trying to 1v1 Ice Tubig, but well, Roxy comes in to help him out.
That's a good save there
But
from
now
the
he is free to take those hits.
Yeah, exactly. And now this is all Cakes getting on the scoreboard, getting those frags. It's a quick push here, and now Santa Paps walking on in. It's just not gonna happen. And the payload now so close to the end. Can anyone actually contest? Will it be Cakes taking this victory here? And now here comes Ice Tubig, but too late to the show, and we have our winner in terms of their match score. It is Cakes taking that one. We still are gonna have a 4th map, but well played there to the side of Cakes, taking their first match win, debuting team with a victory here. Mika, yet again the prophecy is fulfilled.
That's right. We have is that a 3 out of 3 for debuting teams? All debuting teams?
I'm not sure, but I remember basically past our initial weeks, like the teams that have been a debutee versus a team that was already played has always gone in favor of the debutee. So if anyone can check that out, so we have to do a 4th map. And let's go back into talk screen as we are gonna coordinate old school Overwatch League. So yeah, what about Gibraltar, Mika? What about Gibraltar can we actually mention?
Well, this is definitely a tricky map, I bet. But I was actually quite impressed with Blackbeard over there. It seems like it was the strategy of Cakes was really just centering around giving him as much space, as much sidelines as possible, because he was just taking everybody out. I think that he was the reason that Ube's server really couldn't push in there, because there's just Blackbeard somewhere along there and they would just get one-shotted out of there. Ube's server, of course, just really tried. I guess bringing in Santopas and Chico kind of maybe messed up their tank groove a little bit just now, so maybe perhaps on this next map they will get it back. They will get it back in time to maybe win, just one, even though Cakes have already taken the game, technically speaking.
Yeah, well, it really is also that map score. And hey, if this was only a best of 5, then we wouldn't have the amazing win of Overwine from last time, right, Mika? And, right. You gotta remember those. So this 4 map set, it's fun. It's fun. I like it. What do you think,
Yes,
huh?
there still is a chance, and even though yes, somebody else takes the game. Technically speaking, there is still that chance to learn, get better, adapt. Because sometimes it's like it takes time for the teams to really get their groove, and it only comes out within the third or the fourth map. So, this could be it. This could be it for Uber server. I'm definitely cheering for them right
Yeah,
now.
we'll see if they can actually get something done. But it seems like our next map has been decided. We are looking to confirm it, but it is going to be potentially Hanamura for our last map. What do you think about Hanamura, Mika? What do you think about a setup like that, especially with Team Uber server looking for a victory? Is Hanamura really the place for comebacks to begin?
Possibly. I noticed they're not fielding Bershi, which I think would be like her Pharaoh could possibly help them, really take the map at this point. Because if Pharaoh is played right, of course, you can definitely get those frags in Hanamura. And of course, the second point is just really difficult as well because it's big, and they have all of these entrances and everything, and so you really need that DPS, scattered out so that you can leave the gateway wide open for the tanks to roll in. So we'll see. I would say that possibly putting Mercy in other than ice tubing might be a smarter option because of her prowess on the Farah. But maybe Ube has something else planned.
Yeah, I want to see what the plan is gonna be, but let's look at those results real quick. Oasis, Kings Row, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, all gonna have that oil pastel on. It looks like a 5-year-old drew it on and is proud to put it on your refrigerator, but I'm proud to see Cakes get that gold star achievement and get those 3 wins already, securing them that match points. So Kings Row, honestly, Mika, pretty much the game to remember in this matchup. It was absolutely huge between Mercy as well as Shiver Oily Beer, making a big difference as well with the Junkrats. And then you go to the Gibraltar, you go to Oasis. That is a Blackbeard show showing on up, and really it was very, very impressively done by Cakes on the tank line as well. It seems like there's just more synergy going on between them, between Roxy as well as Red Rose in general. It isn't even about the hero picks that they bring out, but it's just what they want to do together. And now with Hanamura, it's going to be the ultimate test of that chemistry, of that synergy, as we are going to be looking to come on in. Both sides are just getting ready to go, and it is Oily going to be actually playing. We do see subs as well for Ube's server, Cockenbear and Vernon in right now for Mercy as well as Sacred. So yeah, Hanamura, Cherry Blossoms are around, and I feel like, Mika, like, Hanamura is one of the prettiest maps in the game. What do you
It
think?
is. It is. I do have a favorite spot where I just stand underneath the cherry blossom trees and watch the little petals fall on me. And while you have that
Wow.
precious, yes, while you have that precious, 30 seconds, and I'll just stand in there and soak in the peace before the first slash happens.
And my favorite part is to do that and then just immediately get staggered and die. That's really good too. That's really good too. But hey, it is what it is, and we are going into Hanamura. Weaves out for these two teams. It's Cakes with the 3-0 advantage. Who will take Hanamura? Who will take this last map? We shall find out into this game.
I also find these two teams really interesting because, as you mentioned, this community, the streamer community, is actually really, really tight. So, is it possible actually that the members, the roster of Team Cakes and Team Ube could have been switched up? I mean, like we could have seen Cockenbear easily on Cakes, as it could have seen Red Rose on Ube server.
Maybe in like way back when, but right now you really see that these players, these communities are very, very close with each other. They know of one another, of course, but let's just say this. Let's go back into a little bit of history of Overwatch. So Overwatch is still a thing. It's basically me just saying lobby up and stuff like that. But that is the yellow pages of the Overwatch community. But way back when Overwatch is really alive in the scene, you could really see all these names together in a server like that. But beyond, of course, the server like that, beyond, of course, Facebook groups as well, people just find where they belong and find the people they do want to play. And you can't please everyone, and at the same time, you can't handle everyone. So it's really kudos to both Maui Cakes as well as Mercy, making these communities, bringing people together. And maybe in another life they could have been in these teams, but right now I don't see them really being with one another. But hey, you know, if it was way back when, it could have been like the heydays 2016, 2017. It could have been a possibility if they had the game already. But at the same time, we'd probably have 32 teams instead of 8 in the Invitationals.
Wow, that'd be a handful.
Oh, it's already a handful. It's already a handful with 8, okay. It's already a handful. But it is time for Uber Server as well as Cakes to do the dance of death into those skylines. It is Shiver versus Ice Too Big. And Shiver has shown his pedigree on the far, really being as pesky as can be in many regards. Really trying to shut down any far gameplay. But Chico on the Zarya, and we have noted this, Uber Server has a really good Zarya player on Chico. Basically, if I remember correctly from his history, from a few anecdotes from some of his friends, this is pretty much the only hero he wants to play almost all the time. He does whip out the Roadhog from time to time, but when the going gets tough and he gets tougher, that's Zarya getting the tracking on. Cocklebear and Ice Too Big with some frags on the board as well for the red hand side.
The Cakes down 2 members right now, and I think that Shiver trying to box everybody out wasn't such a win in the long run, although he was able to distract 3 members of Team Ube. His takedown might just leave the door wide open for over here to take this map, because they are not, it's not looking good for Cakes right now.
Yeah, Cakes getting overrun. First point now being taken here by Uber Server. And they had the momentum from the very start. They were able to really get the push on, put their footing onto the rock garden. And eventually that is going to be advantage. Ice Too Big impressing as well, flying on around. He's closer to the barrage compared to Shiver, who's staying onto the sides. Stair in the meantime, making sure that he's tethered on, because the moment is far, let's go. That is going to be the Mercy falling on down as well. So Team Cakes playing on the outside. Might be an opportunity actually here for Uber Server to push into the objective.
Alright, we'll see what Shiver over here is trying to do. Trying to possibly get those flanks in once again before joining the team. And we can see that Uber is taking the high ground. And Cocklebear is trying to really get the pick off Shiver over here. Really working hard to do so. He's been working hard since the first point.
It's very difficult though, especially since the Hanzo is still projectile. Grab the surge down from Red Rose, but Shiver is not ready for it. And he doesn't have the barrage as of yet. Instead, it's Cocklebear getting the kill there. Dragon Strike coming on through up top. The Diagonal actually catching Oily Bear, and here comes the charge action. Santa Pops letting loose the juice, going on over, trying to survive though. Grab the surge this time, and will get Stereo. What a long range lob there from Chico. But Uber Server still needs more frags on the board to get this contest going. Roxy Lond is swapping over to that Wrecking Ball Shiver in the meantime with the Rocket Barrage. Cocklebear gonna get that counter kill, and Uber Server onto the high ground so far. Sonic Arrow though being tossed. Chico looking to make it through. Here comes the Pile Driver already. Karna in a spot of trouble. And here comes Santa Pops rolling on in. The Reinhardt trying to make it back. But in a map like Hanamura, in a map type like Assault, spawn advantage is absolutely king. First point, attackers. Second point, defenders.
That's right, and I think Uber Server just didn't deal with those remaining members of Team Cakes fast enough, right? When they eliminated 3, they still had the supports and Shiver to deal with, and they just couldn't get rid of them fast enough. We ended up getting the spawn advantage, and now here we are seeing Team Cakes really just taking back the point that they were just about to lose.
But as you say that, Mika, here comes the Coalescence. Uber Server knocking back that life. Oh my god, Oily Beer, that is way too close for comfort. But apparently, I curled up my toes, but he was still able to get no kills. Not enough shutdown this time compared to King's Row. And well, Team Cakes showing the power of the Junkrat. Let's watch that one again. That's absolutely ridiculous how close that was.
Riptire right on the red carpet of Uber Server, right there, right on the entrance. Really risky.
He made it work. He made it work. And that is the Oily Beard way to go. Eventually getting things done with the Riptire 2:52 on the clock. And many teams have to take note. As soon as Oily Beard shows on up, well, you really have to shut down the Grenadier along the way. But I feel like the Junkrat is honestly gonna have a tougher time in this meta, especially if Echo and Farah are gonna be seen together, or Echo really getting that gameplay in the first place. I don't see too much Echo here from Uber Server, which, you know, it might be something to note in the long run, that this Junkrat is really one of those picks that hurts them, because Shiver can mirror against the Farah. It might not be enough. Shiver, speaking of him, he gets killed on the Cocklebear, and we are seeing the scenario in the New Wave Invitationals. Usually the debutants have basically something in their arsenal that really hurts the opposition to such a vital degree.
That's right, and Shiver over here switching over to the Genji, I guess because he noticed that Cocklebear has really been doing his homework and has really been hunting him down.
It really is just all about the prowl. And I remember, Mika, we talked about last time with Overvex and Ubis server. That was the thing, the Pharah really countering the Symmetra strats. This time, it is just the Pharah facing off against the Pharah and the Junkrat basically countering everyone on the ground. So yes, the components are important. Cakes right now look to rotate. Ubis server, the very slow push, and they will get punished for their turtle gameplay because Gravity Surge into Dragon Blade. Good shutdown here, and now Colbert gonna get one, but Shiver is just way too mobile. Home ground here and now for the Cyborg Ninja, and that is going to be Team Cakes getting things going in their favor again.
Oh, that was really, really unfortunate on the side of Santo Pops. I think he fell down, leaving the rest of his team just so vulnerable to that blade. I think he fell down on the bridge there somewhere, and I saw him crawling back up the stairs.
Crawling back to you and crawling back to his team, but it just doesn't work out in that flavor. Still though, Uba server trying to really take that high ground away, but here comes Oily Beer again. And speaking of the destruction and the demolition with those explosives, there's the mines, there's the Reptile. Oily Beer getting his standard 2. This is the Oily Beer experience that we are, accustomed to in the first place. And a while ago on King's Row, not really the Oily Beer show. This time though on Hanamura, different case. Seems like we have changed channels and given this guy a pay raise, because Team Cakes right now one more defense and they will be able to hold his points.
I guess Hanamura is a bit of a comfort map for him too, because he really knows like when to where exactly to lob these bombs and set these traps, and as well as even if it's a really awkward spot to launch a Riptire, he knows when he can go for it. Or maybe he was just taking a chance and just hoping and praying that he wouldn't get spotted there.
Exactly, and he just went for it. I don't think he really cares about getting spotted or not. He's just gonna go for it. He's just gonna make sure he can get things done. But better teams better take notice if they do want to get that shutdown there. Grab the search right now into the frame. They're gonna get that kill. Here comes the rain, and down it goes. Ice Too Big looking to unleash all of those barrages. But what a deflect there from Shiver, timing that one right. Colbert able to get one. Good ultimate usage here from Uba server, but it just isn't enough. They used it to make an opening, but it's not lethal enough to get those frags. Ice Too Big back into the fold. The points need to get contested. And well played there, the Ice Too Big taking care of Oily Beer. That's a big pick off there from the Pharah, taking care of the Junkrat. Shiver in the meantime giving chase. That's some really good high ground here for Shiver to really stabilize on. I think the Shurikens are enough to get that kill. Swift Strike Reset is on board. Here comes the Ryan and the Zarya looking for a last stand. Back to back battle of the two, but it's just not gonna fry whatsoever. Overtime ticks on down, and it is Team Cakes. Well, they defend this second point.
That second point was such a riot to watch, because I think the mobility of Kane with Oily Beard jumping around, and you also had Shiver jumping around as the Genji, you had Lucio on speed and Mercy as well flying around. I think Uba server didn't quite know who to focus on, because you're absolutely right, they weren't getting the kills that they needed, and I noticed that they were looking at all over the place. I mean, that point can be really confusing because there are so many spots to focus on, but I guess where it really counted and where they should have been dealing with those players one by one, they just couldn't seem to focus on who exactly they were supposed to target.
Exactly, and that is basically a symptom of course, not the strongest teams. Like here in the new Invitationals, we do have a cap, and on our average, we do have gold, plat, and diamond to stand on. But as a team, the first step to getting better is really getting that focus on. Even Masters, Grandmaster teams have that struggle. It takes a while to really figure it out and build that chemistry. And honestly, it's not even about playing Overwatch, it's about playing with each other and being disciplined enough to call targets, to figure out who to actually go on first. All about planning here and now, and Upa server planning to defend with a Genji as well as with the maker Zen and the Moira. It's the Zenyatta actually showing up from the Beyond. And we don't see the Zen too often right now. There's just so many factors that really hurts the Zenyatta. The effective range of many heroes being so pesky. The shield play is another thing. We also have basically the fact that the Zenyatta is just not mobile enough. But, Discord ARP is always a good thing to have on your side.
That's right, and I'd definitely be scared on a Zen if you have Roxy on the Winston and Shiver as well. Already a very capable Genji. You just know they're gonna go after you, and indeed, there goes Shiver going after Karna and taking him down.
Yeah, 1-1 trade so far. Team Cakes getting the push on. Oh my god, what happened to Cucumber? Fell down by himself, and oh no, Cucumber, where are you going? Heartbreaking stuff there. Shiver though with a little bit of the dash resets again. And that's just it. This is Cakes getting this point very, very quickly. Seems like Uba's server and their defense crumbling on apart. Chica trying to go for a last stand. And a good job from him. 70% already on this Zarya, but it's just not flying. Team Cakes, 40 kills to 25 overall. 1 minute on in, already getting pretty much his whole points. This is pretty much them looking for that sweep, Mika. With 6 minutes on the clock, they are primed to find a way to get that 4-0.
That's right. That's a lot of time. It's looking like Ubisoft over here is possibly changing up their lineup with the Sombra and a Mei instead. And we're seeing Roxy and Ice Tubing here giving a little conversation, saying hi to each other, dropping in some walls and trying to get some damage done. But Roxy going down.
Looking for the
Guessing
haps,
there's some
doesn't get it
that time.
on the Shiver, but keep an eye on the Shiver. He has the blade, Nanaboo's gonna be available here, and it's time to let it rip! This is scored it up, gets grabbed on Surge, and goodbye. Genji gets erased. That's kind of hard. That's kind of heartbreaking, honestly, as a Genji, to just get grabbed up and to just die in the middle of everything.
That's right. But there's a kind of pride when you get like that solo grab, that you're that much of a threat to get all that grab to yourself.
I don't like getting solo grab. It's cold, it's dark, it makes me feel sad, and it's a black hole that I don't want to remember. But Team Cakes playing into the middle. Roxy Lalonde will be popping that Primal Rage. And we do see a few hits here and there. Valkyrie right now pop as well. Team Cakes keeping things alive. And wow, that is just exactly what they need. The firepower from Red Rose and the Riptire from Oily Beer, waiting for someone to show on up. Goodbye, fireworks are there, and Team Cakes have done it. They will take their debut 4-0. No bans for this one. If you guys notice, in the weight-based ban system, these two teams are pretty even in that regard. But Cakes have shown that they are above and beyond, and they have been looking to really their path here in the New Wave Invitationals. Good debut. They move up 1-0, and well, at least we have all our teams now getting a game on as Shiver gets the Dragon Blade play of the game.
That's it. That's the one, and that was where Santa Pops fell down, and I guess wasn't there to protect his team. But he still shows up on the leaderboard with 15k damage blocked.
Yeah, there you go. Santa Pops. You said you were a Santa Pops fan, and he didn't really disappoint. Reinhardt really trying to do a lot of things, but it just seems like there's a momentum in favor of Cakes heavily in many parts of that game. And there you go, we have our 4-0 set on up. Mika is actually happened here in the New Wave Invitationals, and well played there to Cakes. We'll be seeing who we're gonna be having next on our interview, and we will be right back for that, guys. Stay tuned, stick around. We'll also be coordinating with our second set of teams, because this is a doubleheader. It will be the Washed Up Homies versus the side of Watch next. So don't go away from the stream. We'll be right back for our interview. We'll be right back with a second match afterwards, and we'll do a little bit of analysis along the way. So welcome back, guys, and we have Maui Cakes of Team Cakes coming on, and she's not in the roster, but well, she's the one who formed this team. Basically, their momager and their coach as well in many regards. So having the heart of the team here being represented in their first victory has to be the best way to go about it. So how are you, Maui Cakes? How are you doing after such a decisive victory there for your team?
I feel so proud. Like, they at the beginning, like before the matches even started, they were telling me, Maui, I feel so nervous. I think I can't perform well, and I'm like, guys, it's okay to be nervous, but and then it's okay to commit mistakes as long as you guys are having fun. That's all. Just think of it as QP. And yeah. So what my message for the team was, it's really okay to commit mistakes, and it's really okay to be nervous because like what you said a while ago in the beginning of the stream, uh we just made our first ever debut in tonight, and I really feel so proud. I mean, like, it's such an honor to be invited by you guys. You guys don't know how much I feel so um honored to have received an invite for this, and it's like giving me an opportunity um to like invite the people from my roster to officially participate in this kind of thing. Thank you for the
Yay!
opportunity.
We're happy.
Congratulations, Maui!
We're happy that
Thank
you're here. You
you.
sound nervous. I think Mika has
I
something to ask you about
am.
it. Oh, Mika,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I wanted to ask why you guys
Yeah,
are so
yeah.
nervous. Bakit? Why?
Like I mean, like, according to Shiver, it's like his first time. No, it's not his first time, but events like this actually makes his hands shiver. Makes his hands yeah. So I'm like,
Why?
so when you know that nervousness actually can transfer to other people. So Shiver told me that a while ago, like earlier tonight, he told me that he was very nervous, and I'm like, please don't say you are because it's making me nervous too. But as coach or manager for the team, I have to be there for that. I have to show them that, guys, there's nothing to be nervous about, and I'm so proud of them. Like, oh my god, you guys don't know.
That's right. Well, you did a good job. Of course, your babies did a good job, right? When you
Yes,
make
my
it.
babies.
Yes. So congratulations to you guys. What a strong showing. And I think Shiver has nothing to be nervous about, nothing to shiver
Yeah.
over anymore.
Yeah,
Thank
he did
you.
such a good job, and overall, your whole team doing such a solid job. So, what went on into making this roster? So, we already said the fact that you guys were the first invites, and you guys took sweet
Yeah,
time
yeah,
to
yeah.
get things going. And if I remember correctly, you did have a lot of adjustments to work on. So, how did you form this core? This basically the representatives of Cakes, and what do you feel are what their biggest strengths and their biggest showings into these coming matches here in the New Wave Invitationals?
Okay, first things first, like, remember where you dropped by my stream, Daks, about my
Mm-hmm.
giveaway scrims?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and then right after that, like, the hype died down because the scrims was over, but just after that event, I received an invitation. And just like, wow, like, oh my
Wow.
god, so the hype won't die down. So I actually announced it in my server, and oh my god, the feedback I got from them was like enormous, like me. So I actually requested, like, I want to have like two teams, but yeah, so there's only one spot available, and unfortunately I had to like not include some people, and I included not best, but I included the more active ones in the Overwatch community. And yeah, like, there's it it's like seeing six children graduate from college. That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm so proud.
I can feel the heartstrings getting
I know.
tugged.
I feel you gushing, Maui. I do have another question for
Sure,
you
sure.
though. When are we gonna see you play?
Oh.
Oh, that's a very difficult question. I think you should answer that, Dax.
I wish you could, but you don't. They don't have slots. They're using all of them already. So we'll see if we can get her to play or something like that. But she's doing such a good job. So Mami, I do want to ask you, what is exactly your role? Are you more of a manager, or do you actually do some coaching as well for your team? Because we just toss you the role because I know you're the one fixing things up, and you're the one communicating with the rest of the crew. So what do you really do for the Cake Squadron, especially for the NWI?
Yeah, so yeah, I keep telling them, okay, guys, let's have practice at around this time, and yeah, that's what actually made their gameplay quite quite massive. It's because we have this schedule in which I would like hold practices. I'm also really happy that they would like cooperate. I'm also really happy that some people in the chat would like like what they meant, like what Roxy mentioned a while ago, like there were scrims, practice scrims. This is because we can actually point out weaknesses, strengths, and I would really, really like to thank Roxy, because Roxy is the team captain and she's really, really tactical about this stuff. Like, okay, what are you good at? Okay, let's play that. Okay, what are you good at? So, Roxy takes all the credit because I'm here to like earlier tonight we even had like a mini meeting in which I prayed for the team, and they were like amen, amen. So yeah, I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, Dax, I think we're really scaring people here.
What are you talking? We're not even playing. We're not even playing anymore. We're like, okay guys, diamond average na. Okay, kung may master ka, pwede naman. Okay lang, we'll just fix it. Okay, kung masyado malakas yung isang team, o tanggalin natin yun pa. Okay, don't worry about it. How are we scaring people pa? We're trying to make this as welcoming as possible.
I
You
don't
wanna
know why
scare them?
they're so nervous.
You
Good
wanna
job.
scare them? You wanna scare them? You put the Mika Fabula Yumi duo together on a team of
No!
team PH. Let's go. Let's bring it back. Washed up, ultra
No!
washed up. We guys
Maui,
we have.
I feel for you, Maui. I feel for you, Maui, because like just like you, like my team has always been very casual, and bigla lang ngayon we're like, okay, we have a scrim like right after this cast,
Oh,
and we have this
scream.
Excel sheet and everything, and it's like right,
Indeed. Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
You
got
guys
you,
try harder.
girl.
You guys already try harder than me. I don't have an Excel sheet. What is this Excel sheet? Schedules. It's just like, hey, you have something today. You better show up. Hey, we're doing something today. Here's the video. There you
Yeah.
go. Who needs Excel sheets? Who needs to fix it up?
Dax
Yeah.
Cast needs no Excel sheets.
No
You
need
guys
for Excel
Yeah,
sheet. I
indeed,
remember
honestly,
I remember
indeed.
it was something we talked
Agree.
about before.
totally great.
You were talking about, like, there was like a whole org thing, and I was like, we don't need an Excel sheet. All we need is a Discord text channel, or I can say show up or you're out of the team. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. But hey, kudos to, at least you guys are vibing. The vibe check on the momager side is hardcore between you two, and honestly, kudos to Cakes for such an impressive run. So after seeing
Thank
that first match,
you.
Maui, I just want to ask, what do you think about the New Wave Invitationals? What do you think is going to be in store for the future, also for Team Cakes, as they still have a lot of matches to go? And I think they're going to be the team that we're going to have to do makeup sessions on because, well, you guys are kind of the ones lagging behind in terms of those match numbers, so we're going to have to figure something out for y'all.
Oh
Yeah, we have to figure something out because we do want to get a round robin on, and we don't want to be like, okay, you didn't play this game, so you're gonna get a forfeit. No, we want to see if we can actually get some sessions on, maybe even some back-to-back games for Cakes. Oh, that has to sound tiring, but besides all of that, from just that first match, what do you feel from seeing the whole setup go unfold?
yeah, so I just remember that I haven't answered your question the first time. Like, um, I didn't know that we were the first ones to receive the invitation, and we were actually the last ones to like submit the invitation. Yeah, it's because of the members were like backing out. Some members were backing out. Some members were like not sure because they have this and they have that, and then just like before you mentioned in your invite that the invitationals will like start in May, right? So I'm like, okay, I have like 1 week left for April. I'm just going to like round them up and just like submit members and I'm not like ask members who's gonna join, and then yeah, that's why we came last because there were some members backing out. And back to your question, um yeah, what was your next question again?
Okay, TLDR, I just asked, what do you think of, after seeing that first match, what do you think of the whole system, and what do you think is the future of cakes?
Future. Yeah, I think if yeah, I think you guys, if the opportunity is given, I think you guys are going to see more of them and less of me. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I'm happy, not not because of like we're just like it's our debut or whatever, but I'm really happy of my team. I feel like a mama right now, like that proud.
Oh, I got you,
Mommagers.
girl. I
The
got you.
mommagers. The
Yeah.
mommagers are here.
Ah,
The
I
mama.
can
I got you.
I'm gonna stuck between momager one and momager two. But kudos to Maui. Kudos to Cake. And thank you for this
Thank
interview. So
you.
before we send you off and look to set up for our next game, I just wanna ask Maui, you have anyone to shout out before before you head off from the stream?
Oh, okay. I can I shout out my members like
Of
one
course,
by
of course,
one.
of course. So go lang. Take your
Thank
time.
you.
Someone needs to wake up. So if they hear this, please wake up. Hello, sir. Please wake up. You know who you are. But yeah, go ahead, Maui.
Okay, first of all, I would like to shout out to Roxy for being so patient with the team, like training them. You're the type of leader in which you won't force a member to play this. You're actually the type of leader that okay, that's your strength. We're gonna use that. I really admire that kind of leadership. Shout out to Blackbeard, even though with his busy schedule in games, he actually said, yes, I'm gonna participate for you, Maui. Shout out to Red Rose, Alex, Shiver Vitalis, Stereo for always participating in the practice, and also to Asterius and Grad and Buck for actually like like scrims practice and whatever. Thank you also to who else? Dax.
Oh hi,
Daks.
I'm here. I'm here too.
Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the wonderful casters tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Maui.
what
It's been a pleasure.
one last Maui. If people want to follow you or check out your stream, where do they go?
Oh yeah, what a plug! Boom!
What?
What a plug!
Shameless
Let me.
plug,
You know what?
everyone.
I can do it for her. If you guys want to check out
No!
Maui and the Cakes community, you can head over to twitch.tv/Maui Cakes, and that is
Oh
not just
no.
one eye; it is two, if I remember correctly. So it is Maui, like the guy from Moana with his Maui, and then it has two more eyes actually. So it's Maui Cakes, three eyes,
Actually, three eyes. Yeah, three
three
eyes.
eyes. So it's Mao Three Eyes Cakes, and she also has a Facebook page of a similar name. So if you see her chat, just click her profile in the Twitch chat, and then
Oh
there you go.
no.
You can give her a follow. You can see her stream from time to time. She streams Overwatch and a bunch of other games to boot. And if I remember correctly, like we said, Cakes and Uber Server both having some wonderful communities. You can just hit her up, ask for an invite if you want to join in to the fun. So there you go. I got you, Maui. I got you
Thank you.
there. And it's time to get on ready for our next game. Thank you, Mali,
Thank
for this
you
interview.
guys.
As we wrap up
Bye.
this part of the broadcast, let's talk, Mika, real quick about the match that unfolded. So let's transition on over to that score screen again: 2-0, 5-4, 1-0, 2-1. What do you really think was the most defining map of that match?
You know what? Not so much defining map as I think like defining moments, because like definitely there were some really strong moments for Uber server. We can't end this stream without mentioning Mercy, of course. I think MVP of Uber server right there. But definitely Team Cakes had some really great plays. The way they were able to hold some points, even though they were on the losing, didn't have the upper hand in those points. The way they really controlled and paced out themselves, I think, really showed that possibly team wise, maybe they were of a more mature and reserved and maybe a wiser, smarter mindset than maybe Uber Server at this point. But we I think we will see more more development from Ubu server perhaps in the next games to come. But this was definitely a strong showing from Team Cakes. What a debut!
Yep, a debut indeed. And for me, Kingsrow was the best map, but it also defined what Cakes was all about. Able to adjust with one another, able to adjust true to one another. It's not really about them adjusting based on the opponent, but it's what they have, what their lineup is, and they did show off there. And Oasis, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, Hanamura, there are a lot of times where it just was a wash. Ubi server putting up a fight, sure, in time to time, but overall, it was Cakes having the macro economy on point. That Gibraltar game, it took them how long, Mika, to actually get on through from the first corner, and how many ultimates. That just goes to show that Cakes just really understanding how to play the time back to such a good degree. And that is about that for this side of the broadcast. We'll be moving on over to Washed Up Homies versus side of Overwatch very, very soon. And hopefully, we can go for the wake-up call and figure out what to do if that doesn't happen. So, thank you guys for tuning on into this one. Thank you to Mika for the co-cast, and I wish you luck for your scrim. We'll see your team next week, of course, in the New Wave Invitationals. And yeah, we'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. This has been the first match of day 2 of week 4 here in the NWI. Cakes versus Uber Server. It is a 4-0 in favor of Cakes. And next on the list, gonna be the sides of Washed Up Homies versus Overwatch. It's the Soap versus the TV. Stay tuned, stick around, and we will be right back for that match.